Assalamualaikum guys, this is Sam here. Today I am with another exciting new video which is about a poem by Robert Browning. So basically Robert Browning was a significant Victorian poet and playwright. He renowned his innovative use of the dramatic monologue. So here's a summary of some key aspects of his life and work. So let's start with the key points. So number one is Victorian era and port. So basically he lived during the Victorian era from 1820 to 1889, a time of significant social and industrial change in England. Number two, about the master of this dramatic monologue. So Browning excelled at the dramatic monologue like a poetic form where a single speaker reveals their character and situation through their words. This basically allows him to explore the complex and psychological states. We have number three point, which is psychological and depth. So in this, the Browning poetry often delves into the intricacies of human psychology, exploring themes of mortality, motivation, and the darker aspects of human nature. Then we have last key point, which is notable works. So basically, Browning most famous works include Porphyria's Lover, My Last Touches, The Ring and the Hook, and Men and Women. Okay, so guys, I just forgot about to tell you that today's poem is about Porphyria's Lover, which is by Robert Browning. So let's start with its initial publication. So this poem first appeared in the monthly Repository, a Unitarian journal. So it was published in the January 1836 issued. At this time, it was simply titled with just Porphyria, not Lover. So let's have a brief introduction about Porphyria's Lover by Robert Browning. So this is a dramatic monologue by Robert, a chilling exploration of the obsession, possession, and the dark undercurrents of the human psyche. This poem presents a seemingly tender scene that quickly descends into a disturbing act of violence. So narrated by an unreliable speaker whose twisted logic and delusional justifications leave the reader deeply unsettled, and it's a study in psychological aberration set against a backdrop of Victorian societal anxieties and a stark example of the Browning's mastery of the dramatic monologue form. So this poem forces reader to confront the terrifying potential for love to be perverted into something monstrous and to question the nature of sanity itself. Okay guys, first of all, we have to read the stanza number one of this poem, then explain it with a deeper look. So stanza number one, which is the storm and the arrival. The rain set early into night. The sullen wind was soon awake. It tore the elm tops down for spite, and did its words to vex the lake. I listened, with heart fit to break. When glided in Porphyria's strait, she shut the cold out and the storm, and kneeled and made the cheerless grate blaze up and all the cottage warm. Now let's have its deeper look, like its explanation. In this stanza, Browning telling that the stormy weather is not just background noise, it's a symbol of the speaker's troubled mind. He's already feeling awful before Porphyria even arrives. Porphyria brings a sense of comfort and warmth, a contrast to the chaos outside and inside the speaker. This makes her seem like a savior to him, So the term glided actually implies a ghost like a presence or something that is not quite real. This helped to show the speaker's mental state here in this stanza. Now we have the second stanza, which is about possession and misinterpretation. Which done she rose, and from her wet hair and dripping cloak she walked, her soiled clothes, and then sat down, and stretched her feet towards the place. Porphyria's love she kissed, not how my heart was mine to give, but ere night was o'er, she was mine, mine fair, perfectly pure and good. I told her so. She put my arm about her waist and made her smooth white shoulder bare, and all her yellow hair displaced, and stooping made my cheek lie there, and spread o'er all her yellow hair, murmuring how she loved me. She too weak for all her heart's endeavour to set its struggling passion free from pride and veneer ties deceiver and give herself to me forever. So in the second stanza we have to look it deeper and explain it. So in this stanza the speaker's repeated use of mind shows a dangerous level of possessiveness. He doesn't see Porphyrias as a person with her own feelings, but as an object he owns. He interprets her affection as complete submission, but he's likely wrong. He creates a narrative where she is unable to be with him due to outside pressures, not that she may not want to be. This is a common delusion, exactly we see in the second stanza. So he ignores the possibility that her love might be complicated or temporary. He wants it to be perfect and permanent. Now let's moving to the third stanza, which is about the horrific act and delusion. That moment she was mine, mine, fair, perfectly pure and good. I found a thing to do, and all her hair in one long yellow string I wound. 3 times her little throat around and strangled her. No pain felt she, I am quite sure she felt no pain. As a shut pot that holds a pea, I verily opened her lids. Again laughed the blue eyes without a stain. And I untightened next the trees about her neck. Her cheek once more blushed bright beneath my burning kiss. I propped her head up as before, only this time my shoulder bore her head, which droops upon it still, the smiling rosy little head, so glad it has its utmost build, that all it is cold at once is fled, and I, its love, am gained instead. Porphyria's love, she cast not how. My heart was mine to give, but ere night was over, she was mine, mine fair, perfectly pure and good. I told her so. So now we have to look at deeper look like explanation of this third stanza. Actually, the murder is a desperate attempt to freeze that perfect moment in this stanza he is telling about. The speaker is terrified of losing Porphyria's love, so he destroys it. His denial of her pain shows his complete lack of empathy. He's so wrapped up in his own delusion that he can't see her as a real person. The way he arranges her body is deeply disturbing, and he is creating a fantasy where she is still with him, is still loving him. The repeating lines at the end of the stanza show his mental degradation. Okay guys, now we have last one, which is stanza number 4, the chilling aftermath. So in this we found And thus we sit together now, and all night long we have not stirred, and yet God has not said a word. So in the last stanza, the final line is the most chilling. The speaker believes that because God hasn't punished him, he's done nothing wrong. This shows the extreme level of his delusion. He is completely detached from reality and any sense of morality. So, this lack of divine intervention in his mind validates his actions actually. Porphyria's Lover isn't just a story about a crime, it's about how obsession and delusion can twist love into something horrifying. It's a peek into the mind of someone who's completely lost touch with reality. Okay, guys, now we have these poems, complex and disturbing themes, and we discuss them one by one. So, number one is obsession and possession. In this theme, the speaker's desires to control and possess Porphyria is central to the poem. He views her not as an equal but as an object of his desire. Second one is about the madness and the delusion. In this poem, like the speaker disturbed about psychological state, his rationalization for his actions reveal a profound detachment from reality. Third one is nature of love. Here Browning explores the dark side of love, showing how it can be twisted into something destructive and possessive. Fourth one is about control and power. Actually, in this theme, the speaker's actions are driven by a need to assert control over Porphyria's and their relationship. Like here, he is showing the control and power that how he is controlling Porphyria and their relationship just by him. And then we have fifth one theme of this poem, which is isolation and alienation. The setting of the isolated cottage and the speaker's detachment from normal emotional responses emphasizes his isolation actually. Sixth one theme is the unreliable narrator. The poems form as a dramatic monologue where we only hear the speaker's perspective, makes him an unreliable narrator here. This forces the reader to question his sanity and the accuracy of his account. Okay, now we have number seven, last but not least, the theme which is desire for permanence. Actually, the speaker is driven by a desire to freeze the moment of love with her lover and to prevent it from changing. This desire is so strong that he commits murder. Now it's the conclusion of this poem, Porphyria's Lover by Robert Browning. It's basically a creepy poem, like about a guy who kills his girlfriend because he's obsessed with keeping her love perfectly. It shows how messed up someone can get when they're totally fixated on owning another person. It's disturbing and makes you think about how love can turn really dark. So guys, if you love to watching this video like about the explanation of this poem and want to know more about Robert Browning works, so let me know about this in comment section. Till then, thank you so much. Take care. Love.